Hi, I'm Christina and welcome to my channel, Chriskayoga. Today is just going to be a little bonus video to all my subscribers who have been watching for quite some time, and to all my new subscribers, hello and welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love to have you as a subscriber on this channel. I post new yoga videos every single week. So today, as I said, is a bonus video, and I just thought that it might be nice to share my yoga story with you. So I want to share how I became a yoga teacher, how I even stumbled upon yoga and practicing yoga, and how yoga entered into my life. I'm going to try and be as concise and not long-winded as possible. So let's start at the beginning. I took my very first yoga class at a New York sports club one summer. As a dancer, I danced throughout the year, and during the summer when school is over, it was a little challenging to find kind of alternative ways to keep up with my fitness levels so that I could still be in shape for the next school year. So I got a fairly discounted membership at New York Sports Club, and I went to this class with my mom and my aunt, I think, and we just did kind of a basic beginner's Hatha yoga class. I thought it was cool. We did some meditation, we did some mudras. I didn't know what they were at the time, but now thinking back, I do recognize what they were, and it was interesting. But then I never kind of kept up with it. I just let it go. I was like, oh, that was nice, let's go back to dance classes, whatever. Then it was my junior year of college, and there was a yoga for dancers class being held by a teacher who wasn't my favorite. I'm gonna be 100% honest, she wasn't my favorite teacher. She didn't like me either. I don't know that for a fact, but I am pretty positive she wasn't my biggest fan, but I liked the concept of it. I liked that yoga class that I had taken back over the summer, and I thought it could help my dancing, and I thought it could help myself. So I took it, and I mean, I should have known that since the teacher wasn't my favorite and her teaching style wasn't my style or to my liking, generally, when she taught the other classes that I had taken of hers, that I wasn't really going to like this one as well. Dancers, dance teachers, dance choreographers, dancers in general, if you're not familiar, are quite intense. They're athletes, and they push really hard. So this yoga class was basically boot camp. It got me to the point where I was physically crying from being in pain from I don't remember what exactly the move was. I have a feeling it was during one of the many sun salutations that we were doing throughout this class. It was in the Vinyasa flow style. So yeah, I was in a lot of pain. I dreaded going to this class. I actually skipped it as much as I possibly could, and it was just, it literally just made me ill to think about even going. It honestly made me never want to go to any yoga class ever again. Which, I mean, now thinking back, it's kind of crazy because I based my opinion of yoga on this one class, on this one teacher. It's just like, it's not smart to base your opinion on an entire form of exercise or an entire anything based on the example of one. That's what I did. Never wanted to do yoga again. I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to be in pain like this anymore. Just to give a little background as to why I believe that class was like that, this yoga for dancers class taught by this dance teacher in my university. In dance, a lot of the teachers believe, or that I remember it being when I was being trained, that if you're not in pain, you're not getting better, or if you're not in pain, you're not trying hard enough. Thinking back, looking at myself and what I know about myself now, at first glance, I don't look like I have any injuries, any deformities, any problems. But when you actually look at my skeleton, when you look at an x-ray, and when you break down what's going on in here, something that you cannot see with the naked eye. You really have to get into the bone structure to notice. I have a deformed chest, so my chest wall kind of caves inward. I'll place the name of the condition on the screen. Basically, I have this, and it prohibits my stamina and my breathing. more than it should, I believe. And I, at that time, I didn't make the connection. I was too young to really think about it. I knew I was different. I knew I had a little bit of an issue, and I knew that I needed to work on my stamina, but it was harder for me than it was for other people, and I believe that this was why. I also have scoliosis in 2 places, and it creates weakness on one side of your back and more strength on the other side of your back, which means that you're more prone to back spasms, which I still get to this day. And I mean, these 2 things combined, they really hindered my progress in this yoga class, this Yoga for Dancers boot camp class that I was taking. And this whole no pain, no gain philosophy, I get it to an extent. If you don't work hard, and I 100% believe this, if you don't work hard, you're not going to get anywhere. But you don't know what's going on in someone else's body. So anyway, fast forward a couple years, and my good friend Blair took a yoga teacher training. We were living in that same house together. We were roommates. It was over the summer. I was working a couple jobs, just hanging out in LA over the summer. She was doing a yoga teacher training. She basically just told me it's not the same as what we experienced in that Yoga for Dancers class. She was in the class with me. She said, yoga is so different. I've been learning so much about it, and I really enjoy it. I believe that yoga is very different than the type of yoga, or can be very different than the type of yoga we experienced in the Yoga for Dancers class. So that kind of planted the seed. I didn't try it again right away. I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, I mean, that sounds great, but I still am kind of traumatized from it, and I'd rather not. Fast forward another couple of years, maybe even a couple months. I know it was after we graduated. I started trying it out again, practicing it at home on my own, and practicing a few classes here and there at gyms, at some yoga studios in my neighborhood when I moved back to New York. And then when I moved to London, I was practicing at some yoga studios in my neighborhood where I was living in London. I really started to notice what Blair was saying, that yoga is different. It should not be a boot camp. It can be. You can make it that way. You can make it whatever you want. But in my opinion, that's not yoga. Yoga is kind. Yoga helps people. Yoga doesn't hurt you. Again, it can if you let it, but that's not its purpose. Its purpose is to unite your mind, your body, and your spirit in the best way possible, in the kindest, most compassionate way possible. And if you work hard at doing that, while also being kind to yourself, understanding your body, understanding your limits, and understanding what kind of pain is good pain and what kind of pain is the pain that you should not do. Stay away from that kind of pain. You have to know your body, and yoga helps you to know your body. About 6 years after that Yoga for Dancers class, my mom kindly gifted me a yoga teacher training. My first 200-hour yoga teacher training at Yoga Works in New York City. And it changed my life. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was better than 4 years of college and 2.5 years of grad school combined. The way that we were doing it in the intense way during the training did cause some of the spasms, which in turn allowed me to understand the type of movement that causes my spasms. And the teachers, my mentors during this training, they helped me understand that I shouldn't push myself. If something is hurting me that bad to the point of where I want to cry, I shouldn't keep going. I'm going to hurt myself. Like, this is something that we all need to understand. And if you're a dancer out there watching, get this through your head if you take anything away from what I'm saying. If it hurts to the point of where you're crying, stop it, because it's not worth it. You're going to hurt yourself, and then you're going to have to live with an injured body for the rest of your life. So after the 200-hour training, a year passed of me teaching yoga, spreading the yoga message through live classes and YouTube, and then I got my 300-hour training, and now here I am still on YouTube with over 120 videos of yoga classes on my channel, and I have 500 hours of training. I feel so differently about yoga now than I did back then because I gave it a chance. I gave it a chance and I allowed it to change my life in the way that I believe it could change everyone's life. It was during my first teacher training where I looked back on my first, or sort of first, that yoga for dancers class. Looked back on that class and all the negativity that I felt, which was being resurfaced as I was training, and I vowed to never ever make anyone feel that way through my lessons, whether it's a dance lesson that I teach, a yoga lesson that I teach, whether it's my dancers for my dance company. I never ever want to make anyone feel the way that I felt in that Yoga for Dancers class. And that is what fuels my teaching philosophy today. No, I'm not soft. No, I'm not wishy-washy, and I'm not going to let you do whatever you want, but I'm not going to watch you hurt yourself and tell you that it's a good thing that you're hurting yourself. I'm going to treat you with compassion. I'm going to understand, try and empathize with you, while also guiding you in the way that a teacher should. Teaching you the right way to do something so that you don't feel pain, and teaching you that if you do feel pain to back off, and giving you an alternative that you can do so that you still get the benefit of what I'm trying to teach, but you're not hurting yourself. I think that wraps up my story. Again, I don't want any negativity to be seen towards this Yoga for Dancers teacher that I had. She had her own method, and she has a lot of people who respect her, produces beautiful work in the dance community, and she's very well liked and well respected, and I respect her for that. Not everyone's gonna like me. I'm not gonna like everyone in return. That's just how the world works. But I just thought that it was beneficial for me to share my story, just in case you have, whoever's watching, you have a similar situation where you took a yoga class and you were like, oh, that was horrible, I feel horrible, and I never want to take it again. Don't judge all of yoga based on how you felt when you took one class from this one teacher. That's one person's opinion, that's one person's class, and that's one experience. And yoga is so vast and so complex that there's so much that you can get from it. And I highly recommend not just discounting it, when in fact you should try it again, because it's kind of great. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about yoga, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below this video. Once again, if you aren't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I post new yoga videos on this channel every single week. Without fail, there are new yoga classes on this channel, so be sure that you don't miss any of those. I also have a yoga blog, girlonyoga.com, and you can follow me at chriskayoga on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.